Good evening, everybody. My name is Kimberly Christine, and I am here because I'm going to be doing a complete walkthrough from the happiness to the tragedy of doing a full balayage, melt slash ombre slash whatever color. Now, I've had this brown color for quite some time. You can see there's a couple little streaks in there. But being an ex-hairdresser, I kind of know what I'm doing. Some of these terms are a little bit new to me, but I spent the last 4 hours over the last 2 days researching, watching video, watching the techniques because I saw a particular style and I fell in love with it. So I ended up going to Sally's and picking up a few items. I had some supplies here on my own. And now starts the process of doing this particular color. Now, one thing, before you prepare, you need to have the proper clothing and attire, which is your grubbiest clothing ever. Granny underwear, get it. Old bra that's all busted up and a wire is missing, get it. Because when that stuff goes through, you're going to be pissed off. And especially if it's like hitting your skin, it's not a good thing. As you can see, this has been my hairdressing shirt, my hair color shirt for, I don't know, maybe the last 10 years. The kitty cats, right? Aren't they so cute? There's holes in the back of it. And also the sweatpants that I have on have bleach spots, so now they're my dedicated color pants. And even down to the socks. Yes, your crappiest pair of socks that are all stretched out and messed up because that bleach is going to fall onto your feet. So don't be wearing good shoes. Pick up the carpeting off the floor, or if you have carpeting on the floor, put an old nasty rug or dedicate a towel. I have a towel that I've had probably since I've been 5. That towel is as thin as heck and full of paint, but it's a perfect hair color towel. So if you have any old grubby towels, don't throw them away. Keep them for your color sessions. Now, one thing that I do need to point out before you do start. Let me just back up. All the videos that I've watched, about 90% of them were people who already had blonde hair. And it was just about doing the roots and finishing. Now that was frustrating for me because I may need to do a double process. I may have to do this a couple times, but I have fine hair. I have a lot of it, but it may process within the first sitting, which would be great. If not, then okay. So anyway, before you start any process, plan a week ahead of time. For me, it was more like a couple of days. But when you're getting the urge to do a hair color, an extreme hair color like this, do not wash your hair. Now, they say don't wash your hair mainly because they want it to be as oily as possible so it protects your hair. All right, bottom line, I don't buy that because bleach is bleach. It's going to fuck your hair up regardless. Bleach is going to seek and destroy what is left of your natural hair color. So if you have hairspray and oil on there, an extra 5 minutes that the bleach has to try to melt its way through that hair follicle to get to the color to lighten it is, I don't think that's the issue. But the biggest issue really is about having a greasy, grimy scalp. You need the oils in the scalp to be able to block any of those bleaches from getting into your scalp. And me, this is personal experience. It's about the scalp more than it is about the hair. Even though they may say it is about the hair, it's about the scalp. Over the last 20 years of my life, since I've been doing hair in 1987, yes, I was a hairdresser for 4 years, stopped it, didn't renew my license. I should have kept it up, but I didn't because I'm creative and I do 50 million other things. Anyway, every time I would go through a coloring phase, I would start noticing bumps on my head. And eventually this one bump started to get so big, I went into the doctor and got it removed and found out it was a cyst. Now, 8 cysts later, all on my head, in my scalp all around this area, the upper part. It was never down below here, always up on top. Now all these cysts, they weren't sebaceous, they were keratin cysts, which meant it was hard as a rock. I asked the doctor to let me take it home, so he put it in a little jar for me, and I dissected it and I cut it apart, and it literally was like a little pea, hard as a rock. So basically, I started putting two and two together and realizing that all these cysts and these bumps on my head, I really started noticing were happening after I was getting my hair colored. Now, I would try popping them with the pin to see, and that wasn't getting rid of it or doing anything. So I stopped coloring my hair for a couple of years, and I didn't get any bumps. But bottom line is, I have crappy, mousy brown hair, and you know, what do you weigh the options? Bump or, you know, crappy, mousy brown hair. So I thought, okay, I gotta go back to coloring my hair. So I was very careful, and that's generally why they say to not apply color directly onto the scalp. The same as rubbing it in. Once you have color on there, don't massage it into the scalp, because what it's doing is, if you have a nice, fresh, clean scalp, don't wash your hair, remember? When that scalp is clean, what's happening is it's allowing the color molecule to get inside that scalp and start to invading, right? It's going to take over. So this foreign molecule is coming in. And so my white blood cells and all the the guards and the protectors of the gates started to realize that, hey, there's somebody foreign here. Let's put them in jail and lock them up, right? So it created this wall that encompassed around that little molecule, right? That was in there. And the wall started to get harder and harder. Who knows? Maybe because the molecules started to get bigger, and tougher, right? So that keratinous ball just kept getting harder and harder, and then it would grow. I've seen some pretty nasty pictures of people not doing anything about it, and disgusting. That's what was happening. So the doctor would come in, he would slice it, pull it out, sew it back up, but then they realized that it wasn't just taking out the little pebble. They literally had to cut the entire wall out. So they had to cut a circle in my scalp, which I wasn't happy about. They were literally scalping me. And then what would happen is they would create this hole, and then they would have to sew it back up. Well, it was giving me a nice facelift, right? And I could feel how tight my skin was getting up there. But bottom line, how much thinner can my scalp get, right? So that's why I stopped coloring my hair for quite some time. But now I'm back on the bandwagon, and I'm just trying to be careful. Like I said, don't shampoo at least 3 days. You want this greasy stuff in there. You want it to be able to protect from any of those foreign color molecules getting into your scalp. Don't scrub the scalp. Don't scrub the color in. Be as light as possible when you're doing the application. And this is why I selected the color that I did, because it doesn't involve getting to the scalp and the root. And that's what I loved about the Balyage. Now, it took me a while to figure out how to say the name. After I'd been watching the videos, I kept calling it Balyage, and I know that's a different product. But the coincidence was Balyage, so Bollywood, and you know, I like to do some Bollywood dancing, right? Anyway, so this is basically going to start preparing us here. I'm going to get us all warmed up. I'm going to start telling you some stuff that I never got a chance to see on any of the videos that I watched, because it drove me nuts. Sometimes it was just of people getting ready to go to the salon and telling us that they're getting ready to get their hair done, and it didn't do crap for explaining to me the process. Now, I have fine hair. I don't know if I said that already. It's thin and fine, but I've got a lot of it, as you can see. Yeah, and I have wine in hand here. So I'm sure whatever doesn't turn out, at least I'll drink a couple more of these and cry over it, and who knows, maybe cut all my hair off and start all over, right? But no, it should be good. It's going to take me probably a couple days, if not a week, because I'm going to be doing multi-dimensional colors. I'm going to be using, we'll cut that. I'll show you what I'm going to be using. But anyway, let's say jai ho or let's go, right? So give me a couple of sips of this and we're going to head off into the pit of the bathroom where we're going to start sectioning off the hair, and I'm going to start walking you through some other processes before we actually start doing some damage. Okay, so when you have your measuring utensils, try to have two of the same size cups. So you can use one for the powder and one for the developer. Now, because it's going to be a pretty long project, what I'm going to do is color just one side first, because I don't want to have to leave this side processing when I get to the other side and it's well over an hour, and then I need to rinse this out while I have this in. So I'm just going to do one side first, and make sure I time it. Literally the minute you mix that and start putting in the hair, it's working. So make sure you take a look at your clock and the timer to see how much time has passed. Now the developing time on this is 50 minutes. Do not leave it in for more than 50 minutes. Now because I have fine hair, maybe 30-35 minutes may be too much. Who knows? If 30-35 is the normal for my hair when I get to that pale yellow, if I leave it in for 40-45 minutes, my hair is going to start turning to spaghetti mush, and it's going to start breaking off, and it's going to be a complete disaster, and I'm going to cry. So I want to err on the side of safety and not bite more than I can chew, so to speak. So I'm just going to work on one side first. So like I said, having these two items together, one for powder, and I'm going to mix it a little at a time. So when I finish and run out of one batch, then I'll mix a new batch. So it's always a nice fresh batch rather than the batch sitting here for 20 minutes. By the time I get to the other side, then it's only going to have so much time to develop. So that is the best way to do it, is in increments. And it's smart too, because then you're not mixing too much product and throwing a lot of it away and wasting it, because now it's not going to be having enough time left. So that being said, I'm going to pause again so I can get everything configured out, because I'm kind of getting a little nervous and chicken shit about starting the whole process. So a couple more drinks of wine, maybe a little bit of music, but I can't have music in the background because it's way too loud. Okay, so for the amounts, like I said, I want to mix the powder lightener with the actual balayage clay powder. And when I emptied out the packet here, I put one level scoop of the powder into the bowl. Now, I was trying to see how much of this I could get, and literally it's just a little bit of a over scoop, heaping scoop, as you'll say. I mean, I could finish pouring the rest of the packet on. Yes, so that's pretty much in a nutshell how much you get out of here. So because I'm going to be doing a half and half mix, so I'm going to be pouring some of that back in. And it's maybe a little, about a third, which is about perfect. Maybe a little, yeah. So that's good. Maybe about a third of a product here. A third of a scoop, so to speak. So remember that. So if I end up getting 3 uses out of it, that's awesome. So, yeah, we'll go with the third, if that makes sense. So I've done 1 scoop of the regular powder and about a third from the actual packet. So now that means if I have 1 1/3 scoops of this, then I'm going to need to use maybe about 1 3/4, sorry, of the liquid developer. So remember, it's just a little over a 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, so anywhere in between. Like I said, you want to get a nice heavy paste because you want it to be paintable. You don't want it to be runny. So that is the goal. So that being said, so what I'm going to do first is mix up the powder. So the powders get a little bit of a blending before I actually put in the developer. Close that off because I don't want to be breathing and inhaling. Oh, great, right next to my wine. All right. So let me get the gloves on. Whew. So I'm going to shut you off for a second as I kind of start getting the feel for doing the parting on my hair. Okay, so now it's been about 20 minutes since I've started, and now I'm actually getting to the front section. And this is exactly why I only wanted to do 1/2 at a time. As you can see, 20 minutes have already passed. By the time I'm finishing with this, it shouldn't take as long because the front section is much smaller because of the forehead. Now, this may only take me 10 minutes to do, but it's easier because I can see what I'm actually doing, which won't be as much as a challenge and not killing my arms. Plus, this is how much product I have left. And maybe, hopefully, it will get through that, which is nice because that means I'll have enough product and then some, especially with that, the little packet that I bought of the balayage. So, getting through the ends is going to be so much easier here. You can see what I'm doing. And with that balayage effect, like they were saying, definitely get the edges, maybe just kind of fluff it a little bit. Although maybe that might be a little too close to my hairline. We'll see. Maybe I'll do this is when I'll get that little paintbrush in. Just do a little on the side here. You can see. Definitely want to make sure you get in there really good and mush it, flatten it out. I know I have a feeling the back isn't that good just because it was hard to see how thick the sections were that I was taking. So it's going to be one of those the hell with it moments. And I'll continue to do very skinny diagonal sections. You want to come down when you're doing the part here, as you can see how I'm doing. And eventually work your way down, 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 down until you're getting completely horizontal. So there's definitely going to be a fluctuation within your angles. All right, so here I am. It is 2:30. I decided to do the other half. I was almost just going to wait until the morning, but I didn't want to wake up half and half, like I said, so I ended up doing the other side here. Yeah, so tomorrow will be an interesting morning as well. I'm going to need to buy more cream because I've just about run out of cream. I'm still good on the powder though. I'll probably need another powder for the balayage, but I don't know, we'll see. I almost just wanted to mush it through the hair without the foil, but I felt that would probably look sloppy, so I just went ahead and did this anyway with the foil. It took much longer, but still about an hour just for each side. So a half an hour for each quarter of a section. Now, yeah, so that's my evening. And like I said, the next week I will be doing this and trying to recover. Although once I wash this out, then I'll be putting a conditioner in. I have a deep conditioner just to kind of give my hair a little bit of a rest. But like I said, I'll be picking it back up in the morning tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully I don't get a job interview soon. That would suck. Anyway, all right, have a good night, and I'll keep in touch. Hello everybody, here's the results. I was up to a painstakingly about 2:30. As I said, this is going to be a process. I conditioned my hair last night. I used the Argan Oil, a deep conditioning mask. I'm probably going to wait it out a couple more days before, maybe up to 3 or 4 days before I make any other attempts to do any more bleaching. But otherwise than that, hang in there, be patient. This is a process, and never give up, never surrender. That's all I gotta say. So for now, we're getting ready to head off to La La Land, and I will keep you posted over the next week about the rest of the results. All right, stay tuned.